that it's likely that I get more advice than other folks do. But I think most of it has to do with, one, I'm young for politics. I don't get those same things when I'm doing things, economic development and legal, when I'm working on transactions and stuff. I don't get that kind of feedback in those settings. I'm a first-time candidate. So, I think that, like, let's say even in the instance that they might not give a male candidate as much advice as they're giving me, I still recognize that I'm a first-time candidate, which is a big part of why I'm willing to just try to take it all in. But I do have quite a few stories of advice. And probably when I'm further in my career, I'll be able to tell where it came from. And maybe it'll be one of those quick little books, the 100 pieces of unsolicited advice I got.
I have not run for office, but I have been pregnant. I have raised babies, and that is a very similar type of just everyone thinks that they should tell you how to, what you should do with your own body and, how you should be raising your own kids. I do sometimes wonder if men were the ones carrying babies, if they would get that same level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to know because I think so much of those kinds of interactions, it's so ingrained in our society that it's just really hard to disentangle a lot of that stuff, which is, I think, part of the reason why it's so important for us to have so many women running for office, is because we're about to have this whole generation of people whose baseline is going to be lots of women running for office. And so I know more than you know because I've done this a whole bunch of times. It won't be the case anymore that we don't have. I mean, it still will be for a little while, but we're moving in the direction that I certainly weigh much heavier the advice that I get from women who have run for office. That advice gets weighed much heavier than folks who give me advice who have not themselves run for office, like if they haven't themselves run for office, or if they are coming from a completely different experience. Because in the same way, I don't know what it's like for you in a pregnancy. It doesn't make sense for me to give you advice about how you should be doing anything, really. I try to keep it all that in mind, and I try to take everything with a grain of salt. I try not to take anything personally, which I think will be helpful as this process continues.
Yes, that seems like the kind of attitude you probably need to campaign and to be in Congress right now.
Yeah.
Are there any last things you want to make sure that people know about you?
Just that I have a lot of faith in people and in what we have in the future of this country. I think that right now we're going through kind of a hard growing time for our country, but that I have a lot of faith in us. I think we can find ways to come together more, and that's part of why I'm doing this. So I think that's it.
Well, Sharice, thank you so much for coming on and for telling us about your campaign. This has been really fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, and we will put on our website, we'll put links to your website and your Facebook and Twitter so people can find out more about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. Our theme song is called Sweeter Vermouth and is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. It is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Our logo was created by Matthew Weflin expressly for Two Broads Talking Politics and is copyright 2017. You can find us online at twobroadstalkingpolitics.com, on Twitter at twobroadstalk, and on Facebook as Two Broads Talking Politics Podcast. You can email us at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player FM, and iHeartRadio. If you would like to support our podcast, you can do so on patreon.com.